this presentation, I will be going over the work that I completed during the Unit 12. In my initial response, I went over several ideas after breaking down a brief over what I could do for the testing period for this project. Personally, I wanted to work on such things like creative writing, cinematics, and seamless transitions in gameplay, something which I'd never really delved into before and was very excited to take on. For my idea creation, I went over several different aspects, such as game mechanics, creating game narratives, and modelling, and I tried to compare which sides were better for me, and compare my skill sets. Going over all these, I managed to write and break down in my Miro board which one I would prefer doing. And after getting several primary researches and feedback, I was able to narrow down my options. Planning took a very, very, very long time. Planning was going over a lot about my how I would research and then also work through my testing. So which mechanics I wanted to implement, what I wanted to mess with, what I didn't want to mess with, and it was just overall trying to shape my idea before it truly came to life. So then I could, by creating a small plan, I was able to then follow it and then act it out and then create what I wanted to create, which worked very well for me. My research plan was something I was very, very proud of. This is straight from my Miro board. It was very, very brief and short piece of work where I broke down 6 different sections of work and forms of research, going over such things like market research, audience research, production, contextual design, and indie game. You can see I have very, very lengthy and continuous points from each one, going over what I could research about them, which I eventually did follow up on. Now, in my research, I spent a very, very long time going over everything that I had mentioned in my research plan, and research personally, for me, went very, very, very well, and it's something that I was most proud of in my work. We did several different little topics like creating ideas in short amount of time, and then also needing to do stuff like contact professionals and do primary research and get feedback on my work. I think research was good. I think where it could have gotten better was maybe some more primary research, but overall I was quite proud with the outcome of it. And I think being able to compare different forms of media and games to be able to maybe craft something that I would want to play or I would want to make was something that was very fun for me, because I felt like I was able to have creative freedom in the sense that I could grab that part from a great game and almost try and mash them together in my head. And that's what I enjoyed about the research, because I was able to get everything that I liked and then go, this is what I want from that, this is what I want from this, this is what they did well, this is what they did bad, and that's what I want from it. Primary research. To do primary research, I made a short forum for people to fill out, basically answering the question of how interested they are in the testing that I was doing. So this would be such things as cinematics and the horror apocalyptic genre. Overall, I gained very, very good results with an overwhelming level of support and interest in what I was planning on doing. You can also see that I got various reasons for each one of these answers, allowing me to kind of break down why people were interested in these things, and then almost build upon that. So if someone had mentioned a certain aspect of it that they really, really liked, I could then go, or something like, oh, I like the horror apocalyptic genre because of this reason. I can go, right, well, I'm going to develop on that, let's say that idea, that reason is like a common trend among several commenters. I can build on that and try and cater towards the audience a bit more. This one's a bit shorter because it's my second half of my forum, but it's the same thing again, and it was essentially just a merger of the two questions, and then I eventually asked about the age range of the audience for a horror post-apocalyptic genre. My research analysis was essentially evaluating and breaking down my research over a set amount of time. I was very, very proud of my research analysis. I feel like I did a great job breaking down what went well and what didn't go very well. I think in future I could maybe talk more about primary research, but I was overall quite proud of the results that I got from this. I think what was great about writing it was being able to go over and almost like refresh in my head what I had done in my research and go over what was efficient and what wasn't, and be able to use that in my work going forward. My blueprints, very simple, purely here to show my evidence for the project. You can see in the top left I have my cinematic blueprints, just a brief bit of evidence to show how me messing around with it. And then you can also see in the further top left, you can also see me placing some keynotes in the cinematic section. Below all that as well, you can also see a cinematic blueprint which freeze frames the player so that it cannot move while the cinematic is playing and until it is completed. The rest, for example, the one on the bottom right, that is texture bombing, which took a little bit of time but was relatively simple, and the other two were simple AI for me to use. I was very, very proud of the outcome of this project, and I feel like going forward I could use a lot of the mechanics that I learned here in future projects. My testing analysis. Testing for me went very, very well. I felt like in the time that I had, I managed to create a very, very great product and I was able to learn a lot more. Well, with previous projects, I struggled with overall efficiency and idea creation. With this project, I was a bit more on it, and I was able to create something very, very quickly. Of course, using assets from different pieces of online media, but then creating great blueprinting, a good short cinematic for you to use, and then mixing all those things together to make a great environment and a small little objective and game for me to play. And overall I was very, very satisfied with how it went. Thank you for watching my presentation.